So you've seen the concept art, let's go on to the photography. Hello, my name is Stewart Wood and welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, then click the subscribe button so you don't miss any free content. So in the last video, which is up here, we looked at the concept art for the idea that I got in my head of a ladybird on a vine. In this video, we're actually going to do the photography part of this image. So what I got my macro desk here completely blank. As always, I'm going to build it up from start to finish so that you don't miss a thing. And the first thing I want to deal with is the background, because the issue I have with the background is I don't have a perfectly blue background that matches our concept art. So we're going to have to build that up, okay? The first thing I need to do is I need to dump the chair, turn my hat around, and let's get the camera in place, and let's get the background sorted out. So for this shoot, I am going to be using the Canon 100mm f2.8 L series lens. I'm getting used to using this lens. I'm really liking it. I really am liking it. That's a spoiler for the real world review. I do like this lens, but that is the lens we're going to be using. I'm going to try two things. I have this blue here, but it is a very dark blue, which is great for the outside, okay, but not for the middle. So we are going to have to artificially light this with a second flash to get the vignetting effect that we want. But we'll see what this comes out like first. So that's a background that came with my light tent, link in the description if you want a light tent. So I'm not going to light it right yet. I want to get the vine into place so that we can get the framing done on the camera, and then we can start lighting the subjects, okay? So I have my trusty little tripod with the gorilla grips on the end of it. Link in the description again where to get these from. And we have our vines here. So these are actually from a cucumber plant. As the cucumber grows, it puts out these tentacles like vines. You grab onto things to pull itself up and hold it in place. That's how they work. So if you want to replicate this photo shoot, then all you need to do is find yourself some cucumber vines. I'm going to try, let's see, I'm going to try the long one first. I'm going to place him into my gorilla grip. And what I have to decide is whether I want the vine coming towards the camera or away from the camera. And at the moment, I'm going to go it towards the camera. And I'm going to place it right to the edge like I normally do, so we've got a lot of separation with the background. There's enough space to put down a flash. So I'm just going to set my camera up now. And as always, I'm going to use live view to frame it up. Right, so remember I said that this lens has a better working distance? Look at that. That is very, very nice for macro. Now, it's not needed in this situation, I just thought I would point it out. So I have that framed up quite nicely. What we've got to do now is we need to set the lights up. So I want to talk about camera settings before we get to the lights. What I want to do is I want to have the whole vine in focus if possible. I'm not that fussed about the end of it, okay? However, we are going to have a live ladybird on that is wild, okay? I've got it from the garden and it's going to be moving around, so we need a high shutter speed. So we're going to go with 1/200 per second so we can freeze the action. That means we've got to fill in the light with a secondary light and also sort out the background. I'm going to try and stick to an f7.1. I think that's a really nice setting at the moment for this particular image. So I have that set up. We're at ISO 100, we want that as low as possible. With this being a crop sensor, it's also an entry-level crop sensor. The noise levels on higher ISOs is very, very bad, so you want to keep the ISO at 100 as much as possible. If you've got a full frame camera, you won't necessarily have to worry about that and you can play around with your settings, and I do encourage you to play around with the settings. You've got to remember, right, these are not magic numbers. These work for me in this instance, but for you, they are going to change. So, yeah, a lot of people scream out, what's your camera settings, what are your camera settings? forget camera settings on people's photos. Learn the exposure triangle, which is your ISO, shutter speed and your f-stop. Once you've learned that, you can adapt to any situation. If you're interested, I am going to be doing some basic videos on ISO, shutter speed and f-stops. So keep an eye out for those. I'm not too sure when I'll get around to them, but you know, fingers crossed, promise I will get around to them. Anyway, so we've framed that up. We literally just done the framing. That's all that is. So what I want to do now is I want to introduce the main light, which is going to be this one here. And then we're going to deal with the background. Now, because my desk is white, that is going to reflect the light upwards. If you haven't got a white desk, then put down a reflector, then put your subject on top of it, okay? Let's go get the light. So I have my wireless trigger that I've used in previous videos, so we're going to be triggering this wirelessly so I don't have to touch the camera. I've set the light up here to minimum. Now, just to make a note, if I wasn't filming this photography shoot, this big light here would be just here. So it's as close as possible and it's as diffused as possible, okay? But because I'm filming, I can't have it there because all you'll see is me doing this, going, hey, I'm going to press the button. It just doesn't work, okay? So it's up there, a little bit further away than I would have liked. Anyway, let's take a picture and see what we got. So that's looking pretty sweet right off the bat there. So if we compare that to our artwork here, the background has a few creases in it. I'm hoping that we can get rid of that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go get my other flash and I'm going to put it in here as a slave, see what happens then. Okay, so next I'm going to put this in. Looking at the background. And I completely missed. Okay. So the problem we got there, it's in the background there, so I need to keep it out of the way, but close enough that it hits the background. Remember, we want that vignetting on the background. And we're just not getting it because the background is not smooth enough. So, I'm going to have to tighten the background up. So I'm just going to take it away. I'm going to tighten it up and I'm going to use some tape on it. Gaffer tape is always your best friend. So I'm going to use some gaffer tape, tape it to this board and tighten it as much as possible to get rid of the creases. I have now gaffer taped the background so it's really, really tight. So instead of it being just drop down, it's nice and tight. So we're going to try that now. Okay, are we ready? Okay, that's starting to look better now. You can see we've not got the creases. However, we want to concentrate the flashlight onto the background. What I can do for that is I have some of this stuff. So this is like a black foil that you can use to shape your light. I believe it's used in video. And this was kindly supplied to me by my good friend Richard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the diffuser for this flash. And I'm going to put that onto the flash. I'm going to put this black foil. I believe it might be Cinefoil, I can't remember what it's called. So this black stuff I've just put on here, it's called Cinefoil. I'll have a link in the description for it. Okay, now you'll have to excuse me sweating because it's hot in here. We've got 3 lights running here. I've got the computer in the background that's recording this camera here. That's how the fans are going full on. I've got this light going. I've got no windows open. The blind is closed so that the sun doesn't affect my exposure for the video. It's getting hot, okay? Anyway, so what we've done is we've blanked off our flash. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my knife and I'm going to create a little hole. You want to start off with a very small hole, I will. There we go, got a little hole there. Now the hard part comes is I have to aim this towards the background so it's right behind there. That is going to be hard. So I'm going to get that done off camera because it will take me a while to set up. So I have my flash set up. I've moved it over to this side. It's at 1/4 power now because of blacking it off. We've had to increase the power. And it's aimed directly at the background. And as you can see, we've got a nice little bit of a vignetting going on. Okay. So what I want to do now is I need to make sure that all of this is in focus as much as possible. So to do that, I need to review the image. And you can see that some of it is not quite in focus. And that's because the vine bends a little bit. So I'm going to twist this around a little bit to try and get the main stem of that vine straight and level. Let's try that one. Okay, so we're looking good. Check this vine out. This is where I missed my iPad. If I had my iPad, I could just view it on the iPad, but I can't do with it being slow. So we'll just use the back of the screen for it. Okay, so I don't think we're going to be able to get this part in focus because we're going to have to put the f-stop all the way up and we're going to run out of light. So I think we're just about ready to bring in the ladybird. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to try a green background just in case. Remember, we were tossing up between green and blue, so we're just going to try green, sorry. So I'm just going to try a green background just to see if it looks any different in camera. So we have that one and that one. And yeah, I definitely prefer the blue. The blue is just looking way better. Okay. Now remember that we're going to be adding a texture to the background in Photoshop, so it being completely flat doesn't really bother me. So we are now ready to bring in our ladybird, and what I want to do is I want to talk ahead of bringing the ladybird in because I'm going to have to act fast when bringing this ladybird in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the ladybird on the top here, and hopefully the ladybird will come down and onto the end of our vine. And while she's doing that, I'm going to be clicking this button as quickly as possible. I'm not looking at focusing, nothing. I'm just going to keep clicking it until we get the image that we want. So I'm going to be behind the camera. Okay. You might not be able to see me, but I will be behind the camera. Actually, hold on. I forgot we've got a Canon, not an Nikon. We can twist out the screen so you can actually see me while I'm doing it. So I have the screen facing me now because, again, I've got a Canon. It's not a dig. Anyway. They've just released their mirrorless cameras and they still haven't got a flip out screen on it. Anyway, so I'm going to press the button triggering it while the ladybird's doing its thing on, then hopefully, fingers crossed, it won't fly away. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and get the ladybird. So here's our ladybird. It's in this container. And what I did is the branch it was on, because it was eating aphids, so I snapped off the branch that it was on and put the whole branch in here. But the ladybird has basically gone off and finished her dinner. And what I have to do now is carefully get the ladybird out and onto our vine. I can use these for that. These are tarantula feeding tongs. What I used to use feed my tarantulas. Right, let's get those aphids in there, keep them in there because we don't want them. I'm going to try and coax the ladybird onto our vine. There we go. And I'm going to start taking pictures. There's our ladybird. Okay, our focusing looks a little off. Now this is where we can use live view. So I'm going to switch to live view. Okay. And what I can do, because it's in live view, I can now zoom in on the vine and the ladybird and then get critical sharpness, critical focus, sorry. I'm always saying sharpness. Now this is one advantage of this lens, is that having the focus ring. As you know, my 50mm has an awful focus ring on it. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's looking good. We just need the ladybird to actually move. It's completely opposite to what I thought was going to. I thought the ladybird was going to be all over the place, and it's just sitting there. I'm wondering, can we coax it down? Oh, here he goes. Coax it down a little bit more. Oh, look at that. Please tell me that's in focus. He's right on the end there. I need to drop my shutter speed. There's no nasty reflections off the ladybird shell, which you would have got with the twin macro flash. And it's looking really, really nice. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to keep taking shots. Something else might happen. Again, I'm going to put my f-stop up. Don't be scared to play. This isn't work. This is fun. I'll try f16. That ladybird, it's just playing perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the video there. So that is the photography side of my from concept to print video series. On the next video, I'm going to be taking these images into Lightroom and Photoshop, and we're going to clean them up, edit them, and probably add a background texture into our blue just to break it up a little bit more. But we'll see what happens when we get into that video. If you're not already subscribed and you're liking this free content I'm putting in, then please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel a lot. Please share it out on social media if you have any friends or family that will be interested in this content that I'm putting out, or any of my videos. And as always, join me in the next video for the editing of these images. But for now, my name is Stewart Wood. I'll see you on the next video. So now, I'm going to take this little guy back into the garden and release him where I found him.